Hello, I'm Ramey.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Brother Knows Quest, the podcast where I, your host, introduce my sister to the wonderful world of tabletop role-playing games, or worlds. We talk about a lot of them. Beth, do you have any idea what we're talking about today?
Well, there's no book on my side today.
I know. I found it on my side. Here you go.
My side of the closet, I feel like, is smaller.
It is.
It's Only Magic.
By whom?
Dominique Dickey. There's 3 names.
Well, read all the names.
By Sean K. Reynolds and, hold on, I got to flip the book around because this one's backwards for some reason. Shanna Germain.
Yeah. It's obviously a Monte Cook Games Cypher System book, a modern fantasy setting. And it gives you new foci, stuff like that to make your character with, as well as a lot of different tables, rules to build your world in if you don't want to use one of the ones they got in there. You should know by now, I'm a big fan of Monte Cook Games and the Cypher System. I talk about it every chance I got. I ordered this, and I ordered another book and a starter set for the Cypher System role-playing game. Starter set's just now starting to ship, so I haven't got it in yet, but they sent me these 2 anyway. I'm going to talk about this one, and then next episode I'll talk about the other book I got, and then by then, perhaps I'll have the starter set, and we can discuss if we think that's worth getting. I'm sure it will be. I've never seen a starter set for a universal role-playing game, something you can put any setting in. It's going to be interesting to go through. And It's Only Magic. You have Chapter 1, like world building. It goes over modern fantasy, building your modern fantasy settings, story and plot, playing and running modern fantasy, descriptors, foci. You get flavors, which are different ways to change your character and make them a little bit more to your liking outside of descriptors and foci. You don't have to use flavors, but it's nice to use. You get equipment, modern fantasy rules and modules, creating creatures and NPCs, ciphers, and artifacts. And part of Cypher System is the ciphers, single-use items that have great effect. And artifacts are multiple uses. They kind of, unless you roll really badly, they don't go away. How many pages are in this book, by the way?
There's a map in the back. For some reason, they glued it to the back, so I'm afraid to.
Oh, yeah, don't take it out. I've got, like most of these, I get PDFs as well.
Not counting the index, there is 238 pages.
Okay, that's plenty. Now, how do you like the cover? I should ask that as well. For a modern fantasy book.
I was going to say, it has a modern, the modern decor?
Yes, the art style you're talking about.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Yes. Now, on page 6, covers what this whole book is about, pretty much, kind of telling you what is a modern fantasy thing in this particular setting. But chapter 1, Modern Fantasy. Modern fantasy has been familiar to a wider audience through television and movies for decades, mostly because it's pretty easy to throw a few fantasy elements into a modern-day show without adding much to the production budget.
They have a big list of story ideas.
Yeah, they do.
One of them is the wild spell accidentally creates a mythical folklore or fairy tale entity, such as Santa Claus, the White Rabbit, Krampus, Uncle Sam, and so on, who causes havoc. I said that right?
Havoc.
For good or for evil.
I hope Santa doesn't turn bad. It would be a nice twist.
I think it would be Krampus at that point, wouldn't he?
Yes. But since there's not a ton of RPGs that cover this, they want to throw this book at us. Well, they want to make this book and then hope we buy it, and I did.
These story ideas would actually be interesting for just writing.
Yeah. Something like a random roll table would really help. I'm sure there's some out there, actually. Like a random list of things writers can get ideas from. And just kind of roll a dice and see what comes up. It'd be great, of course. Oh no, what is it? I have gotten part 1 into chapter 1. And what are you so excited about?
Accidental conjuring of too many cute puppies and kittens.
Too many or too?
Too many.
Like way too many of them.
Way too many.
I thought you meant like 2 miniature puppies and kittens. Like they're even tinier than normal ones. They cover a whole bunch of fantasy genres for you to play in.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Oh, okay, continue.
You get monsters are real, and human things of various kinds are real, and they're usually a threat to normal people in the world. In these stories, the PCs typically are humans trying to keep these monsters from harming other people. And a lot of times, it's only one type of monster is real in this world, like demons or vampires, ghost stories, and so on. Like, if you didn't want to think of it as a horror setting, you could think of Dracula as a monsters are real setting. Victorian England. They have a bunch of examples. You get Anita Blake, Vampire Hunter series, Being Human, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Dark Shadows, Fablehaven, Forever Night, Good Omens, which is a good series, Grimm, also a pretty good series, Hellblazer, Hellboy, Night Watch, True Blood, and Twin Peaks. Later series in True Blood obviously added more than one type of
Was
creature.
Good Omen on Netflix?
Neil Gaiman story, and it's on Amazon.
Oh, good. I watched some of it
The
when it
second
first
season's
came out,
Yeah,
but
it's good. Secretly Magic World is another setting. It's a magic and the supernatural are real, but most regular people don't know about it and go through life thinking they are in a non-magical world. PCs often start out by discovering the existence of magic, then exploring the nuances of how the world actually works. A dirty job. I've never heard of that unless it's the actual series where the guy does dirty jobs. American Gods, which is an excellent book, also by Neil Gaiman. An okay series on, I think, Stars. Anansi's Boys, it's connected to American Gods. Bewitched, Charmed, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, The Dresden Files, my favorite modern fantasy. Good Omens again, and The Magicians, Sandman, and Spiderwick Chronicles. You got techno magic, like magic as well as technology. There's this tabletop game about this kind of called Shadow Dark. I tried to play it, but making a character was so difficult on the edition I was on, I just kind of gave up. Well, think of Cyberpunk, but with magic as well as technology. That's what that is. They house Moving Castle, Legends of Korra, Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of magic going on in that if you watch certain ones. And the Shadowrun RPG, they even call out the other RPG. Near modern fantasy, which is set in recent past rather than the present day, Victorian era Britain, World War II, Cold War, Carnival Row, Dark Shadows, From Hell, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is also a great movie. So you want to be a wizard. Never heard of that one. Magical superheroes. Another one you could get the idea of that. Doctor Strange, John Constantine, Loki, The Magic, and Scarlet Witch, stuff like that. Supernatural investigators, like Angel, Vampire Hunter series, Cast Deadly Spells, Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective. Never heard of that one. Agency. The Dresden Files again. The Forever Knight and Hellboy. Odd Thomas, Twin Peaks, The X-Files. I can see The X-Files. Non-Human Society, such as Being Human, Bright, Onward, True Blood stuff. I don't recognize some of those. It's a general public knows that intelligent supernatural creatures like vampires, werewolves, and genies exist. The main conflict in the setting might be how humans attempt to deal with the dangerous monsters. You get multiverses like Caroline, His Dark Materials, the Dark Tower series, Sliders, and The Talisman. So I've only heard of one of those. What?
One of the new abilities in the new ability section is a remote slap. You use an active telephone, cellular or internet or closed circuit video connection to slap someone or a creature.
I literally have a screenshot of that one because I knew it'd be a fun one.
I want that in real life.
You would never want to be an
Influencer?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be any of that. It makes me think of a funny story.
Every bad comment, smack.
Yeah, just supernatural holiday episodes. If your group isn't willing to jump into a full-on fantasy setting, but want to kind of do a short story arc, good holiday episode would be good, like Miracle on 34th Street or Battlestar Galactica. How's that just to hop in? ER, I guess Smallville, all of them did have the Twilight Zone little holiday episodes, didn't they? Now, they have building your modern fantasy setting, other than just the genre. Page 11 through 18 are things like borrowing from another source, which a lot of people will do. I would just for the Dresden Files. Creating a new setting. It goes over the world, the starting locations, the pretense, the future, the past, the magic, knowledge of magic, magical people, creatures, groups, and characters, types of magic, problems solved or created by this familiars, who can learn magic, cantrips, which are just cast as you want spells. They cover that in here kind of like D&D does. Deities, dimensions. They cover crafting, subtle ciphers, which are single-use items, but they're more like part of your body. So get like a boon from some entity that you can use once, and that's a subtle cipher. And yeah, the random inspiration tables. You've seen those, didn't you? You could roll just to create your setting, like the genre. There's starting locations, such as a police precinct, a prison. That's a big good one. Tiny island, a weird library, a ship. Oh gosh, that turned into a horror movie real quick. Events like mass nightmares, mass twinning, mass vanishings. Twinning. Oh no. Everybody gets an evil twin. Time loops, upcoming apocalypse. You could jump from this one if it fails straight into the Rust and Redemption book, which is all about the post-apocalypse. Knowledge of magic, tables. There's so many tables. Magical creatures, magical people, player characters, setting inspiration words. Okay, Beth, go to page 20 and read some of these. Maybe they're not real words.
Probably not. A port. Bureaucracy.
Okay, we got Well, not quite the one I was thinking of. I thought bureaucracy.
columbriform, allopathic,
Read 87 and 88.
87, somnambulates,
I love this.
somnambulate.
Setting inspiring words. Okay, that makes sense. They're just made up words. Ley is a real word. Ley, like ley lines.
Yeah.
These all might be real words. I just don't know. I don't see that being the case, though, right?
I don't know. Look up one up.
Zoolite. I heard about that. Zoolite.
What are these words? No, that's not.
So none of these are real words. They're
That's
just
not a
they're
real word.
for inspiring you.
Yeah.
We've come to that conclusion. Apologies for wasting so much time on it. It was fun, though. They have inspired. Now you don't have to make up random words for your fantasy setting.
Paraclinal is
Oh, what does that mean?
of a cell wall parallel to the surface of the meristem of cell division, taking place by the formation of paraclinial walls.
So it's a biology thing.
Okay. Well, some I guess are and some aren't.
Now, other than the fabulous art, all the beautiful tables you can roll on and useful, especially now we've discovered mostly made up words. I'll say that and somebody will send me a list, every one of them defined, which is fine.
Which is good if you know that.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to learn something.
Here's new descriptors for your character building. If you're an adjective, noun, who, verbs, you get descriptors and foci, all that to build your character in the beginning when you start your game. They had a new ones added for this. You have chimera, a person with animal attributes. Okay. Like a minotaur or a sphinx. You got dragon, 10-foot long dragon who can assume humanoid form. Ghost, which would be fun to play as a ghost. A hunter, member of the Wild Hunt who walks the world in mortal form. The Wild Hunt is the thing I got from the Dresden Files, but it's like a mythological thing. The Earl King takes a wild hunt, goes out and hunts beasts and such with these fey creatures. In the Dresden Files, they'll shapeshift you if you are like a predator, like a vampire or something, and you hear the hunt happening in the distance. You mold yourself into a hound. His magic does that to you. And you join the hunt to chase down whatever he's chasing.
Huh.
Nyx, shapeshifting water creatures who has humanoid and mer-like forms. Sylph, flying humanoid of strong connections to the air and weather. And unmagical, a person who is inherently unmagical in a magical world. Sounds like a terrible place to be, but there it is if you wanted. Foci and character abilities. You mentioned some of those earlier. We have codes, magic apps. You mix programming and hacking to create magical apps and ciphers. Conjure bullets. Cast spells through a handgun. That's the American way. Hunts witches. I don't need to explain that. Inks spells on skin. You have spells tattooed on your skin. The car wizard. Use sorcery to perform impossible car stunts. Think of Ghost Rider. I'm Jimmy, the car wizard. If I ever start a garage, which won't happen, I hate getting my knuckles banged up. That's what I would name myself. Practices moon magic. That sounds cool. I like to think of fairy and elven things for moon magic. Steers the coven. You take a prominent role in guiding or protecting your coven of like-minded individuals. I hear coven and I immediately think of vampires or witches. Transmits energy. You can harness magical energy and use it for yourself to give to others. Turns decay to growth. You're a magician whose expertise is mushrooms and the cycle of rot and rebirth. I should also have said, in case you aren't aware, for some weird reason, and you listen to this, you need the Cypher System core rulebook to run this, anything in this. This is just an addition to that, to add a modern fantasy to your game. There's all kinds of new abilities, such as bound, magical familiar. You could be a blood magician, too, which I would choose that. I would mix some of you could be a vampire in the horror module they have for this. I can't remember what it's called now. It's got like a haunted house on the cover. There's a vampire option in it. You could play as a vampire, and a blood magician would make a good addition because you can play these. You grab the post-apocalyptic one, and if you find something in it you like, you could just plop it into the modern fantasy setting because the Cypher System is the rules, and all these things are just cross-compatible. So a blood magician vampire would be great. A simile of life, give an object limited mobility and awareness, so you could run around. You could create the whole Beauty and the Beast. You could just create a whole house of sentient objects. Not sentient, life. I don't know.
They have the Mothman as one of the creatures for NPCs.
Ah, here's a ghost car ability.
They also have the Jersey Devil.
Oh no, the Jersey Devil. I like what we do in the shadows. You could touch people and paralyze them. You can create a network dead zone, which all the technology stuff's working, which would be handy when you're trying to prevent people from uploading photos of the magical things happening you're trying to hide. The remote slap. Here it is. The artwork is great. It shows this nerdy dude sitting in front of a tablet with his glasses on, but his face is turned to the side and his cheek is all flattened out, and there's a big ethereal hand that has slapped his glasses off his face coming out of the screen. So he is clearly, I'd like to think, bullying somebody. Hopefully he isn't being bullied. I don't think Monty Cooks would condone that. New flavors, charms and figments. You have cozy magic, which is, I'll read more about it. Divination magic, modern magic, and protection. Charms and figments flavor. Creating illusions and affecting minds are sometimes considered soft magical disciplines, as opposed to hard disciplines that manipulate energy and physical matter. It's common for a character with an interest in one of these to learn a few spells of the other. You can create background music, calm a stranger, create a major illusion, create an illusionary disguise, can create a terrifying image. It's just an illusionist of sorts. But a lot of people, I would use it to calm. Cozy magic was the one I was thinking of. Sometimes a sorcerer isn't interested in combat magic and secrets of the universe. Sometimes cozy magic is enough. Bonding with a group of close friends, having a nice house, and providing support and comfort in times of need. You can do things like gift of appeasement, comfort and encourage folk. You can check people's status. It's just like, how are you feeling? And divination. I don't need to explain what that does. It lets you read minds, have premonition, see the history of an item, remote viewing, sensor, knowing the unknown. The modern magic flavor, annoy electronics, which is a Dresden File thing. If you're a wizard in the Dresden Files, in the past, wizards always stuck out in the Dresden Files. They stuck out like they had warts for a while. Magic always, changed a magician in some way or another, and it changes over time. The more humanity changes. So they had warts for a while. They had other things. Modern day things that the wizards affect is electronics. He's afraid to get on a plane because the last time he did, they had to make an emergency landing. He gets near someone's phone and gets a little upset. Their phone explodes. He can fry security cameras just by being too close. When he goes to visit the police department, the detective he works with all the time shuts off her computer before he walks in the door. You can also have an arcane phone, a mage clock. You can mentally connect to a universal magical clock, allowing you to know the local time down to the 10th of a second, which is very handy if you're in a timey situation. You could time things exactly. You can have enhanced athletics. And then you have the protection flavor, which is obviously you can close your mind to being read. You have a ward. Beth, go to page 76 and look at tier 2. Don't forget, this is protection flavor magic. If you want to choose the protection flavor as a build for your character.
There's also one where you can conjure up a emotional support animal.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Safe sex is in here a few times.
One creature you touch can have sexual encounters with no chance of causing pregnancy or transmitting an STI. It lasts for 10 hours, which I guess if you want to make a day of it, still, it's a great ability. I cannot believe that is it's one of 3 options for tier 2 in the protection flavor. You can also get trained without armor, which is in the generic Cypher System book, and wind armor. Tier 3 has energy protection, force field barrier, unstealable charm, counter danger, elemental protection, all kinds of stuff. In tier 6, you get untouchable. Then it goes into the equipment, like inexpensive items such as bowls, boxes, candles, moderately priced items such as an altar cloves, or a broom, a crystal ball, jewelry, expensive items, a cauldron, cloth canopy, cloth tapestry. What kind of ritual would it be if you didn't have a tapestry and at least one crystal ball? So you might want to save up to buy those. They have the rules for the cantrips, the covens. There's a whole section, like page 88 to 90 or to 89, 2 pages on how to run your coven if you have a coven or be in a coven. 90 to 92 covers crafting magical items. Exceeding a cipher limit in Cypher System, you can only have so many ciphers because they encourage you to use them. It's part of your character thing, how many you can carry, because in this, it's magical. In another game, they have Numenera, they're technological. And if you have too many, it kind of affects the world around you. They can have terrible things happen. It has rules for familiars on 94 and 95. It has reviving artifacts that might have been depleted. You have a hand cantrip, a hide cantrip, a light switch cantrip, which I would love that. I guess I have Siri now. Actually, I use Google. I would never ask Siri to cut my lights on. A message cantrip comes in handy. Here's what happens if you exceed your cipher limit and have too many little magical doodads on you. Go to page 92 and look over that, and it tells you some of the things that happen.
Ugly faces manifest on surfaces in the area. Character skin color changes to something unusual. Character's skin grows fish-like eyes,
Ooh.
which dry and fall off like scabs.
Ooh.
You can develop skin rash.
Oh, that's not so bad.
that resembles corporate logos.
Okay.
Character says the word sexy in place of any adjective.
Oh, no.
Uh,
It was sexy. They're over there. Oh, God, run. They're so sexy.
oh.
I love it.
Character's hand sometimes turns into battered plastic duplicate and falls off, with a new hand growing to replace it within seconds.
That'd be terrifying to have happen. So with the fish eyes.
Character's head surrounded by floating illusions of rude gestures and inappropriate words.
You get kicked out of the library. The artwork they use for this page shows a guy carrying a big bag, probably overfilled with ciphers, judging by the stuff going on around him, because behind him and following it is a coffee cup with legs that is chasing him down. Not scaring him, but just following him. And then a UFO right behind him as well, as it's about the size of his shoulders. So he should probably ditch a few of those ciphers. But in the grand scheme of things, this is nothing compared to the spouting eyeballs or anything.
Yeah, bugs frequently fly into characters' mouth when they speak.
Oh, that would be the worst. Imagine if you have to cast a
Character
spell.
sets off nearby car alarms.
There's one. Character keeps seeing UFOs. Okay. Dogs bark angrily at the characters. Hair of everyone in the immediate range stands straight out.
A character occasionally is hurled horizontally an immediate distance with great force.
Oh, no. There's just fun ones.
Character frequently steps on nails, broken glass, or other sharp things. Or there's one where they always bite their tongue.
Oh, I'd rather eat a bug.
Cypher functions normally, but explodes like a grenade shortly after it is activated on the magic ends.
I hope it isn't one you have to hold.
2 ciphers begin fighting each other with switchblades, and energy blast must be restrained or separated.
Your 2 potion bottles hop up and chase each other. I wish the coffee cup had a switchblade in the artwork. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things. Like every one of their books have a table like this when you have too many ciphers. I can imagine how deadly the apocalyptic ones would have had. I didn't think to look into it when I was doing mine. Okay, there's a few separate adventures that come with this, like Home Economics, The Tower of Time, and Too Many Zorps. I don't think I will try to talk about those because they are literal little missions. So they're just short adventures, but I don't want to ruin those in case somebody does want to play those. But it does have some little settings, someplace you can drop your characters into to play and gives you ideas, such as Welcome to the Axle. PCs are magicians in the modern world, going on a cozy adventure in their local community, which you can set in your own hometown or a city you're familiar with. It's warm and comforting, more concerned with the lives of ordinary people than with saving the world. In Axle, magic is integrated into the mundane life. It can be flashy or spectacular, or it can be a phone app. It's very chill, which is, I think more games need a chill setting like that occasionally, especially something like this makes sense. When Gilmore Girls, you could just imagine a little bit of magic touched in it, and
Yeah.
it's kind of chill. Or Friends. New Grimsby is another one. New Grimsby is a town in the American Pacific Northwest with noble beginnings and troubled past. It's meant to be plugged into any world you see fit. Players can play residents in the town, or if their characters are already taking part in a regular campaign, they are just to be passing through. Town folks are aware of the supernatural, most settled here specifically because of it. In fact, looking for a community that would accept them. In this age of technological surveillance and intrusion, it has become increasingly difficult for a real lycanthrope to keep their condition a secret, or a coven of witches to prevent their forest rituals from being filmed by a couple of nosy teenagers. It's a chill little, not as chill, but I would think of Once Upon a Time. And it's basically all the storybook characters are living in this town. Well, that would be kind of like this. I like the fact it's in the Pacific Northwest. It makes me think of the Cullens family. Also, I guess if you wanted to reflavor it a little bit, you could plop it into the South and make True Blood.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, but that's really all I got to say about this. I didn't want to go into, like I said, the little adventures because just in case somebody wants to play them. The other book I'm going to talk about next week is actually the Cypher System Bestiary, which is not common. Another thing that's not common, you don't see universal role-playing games come out with a bestiary just for that system because the beasts can be so varied. They could be magical, machine. You never know what the system's going to be used in. So they put a little bit of everything in that bestiary. And you can always just reflavor the creatures too if you want. It works for that. Or like you mentioned a minute ago, those beasts are in this. Each of the white books that come out have a little bestiary in the back that fits the setting just fine. Picked it up because I buy almost everything Cypher System related. Okay. What would you play in this setting? I mean, I know you like series like this, but I don't know if you'd want to play in one. I think I'd like to chill in the cozy little Axel place where just like everyday life things happen. Just a fun game to hop into after playing so many, the world or the whole city's in danger situations.
I like that True Blood idea.
Yeah, which would be easy to do. And if you wanted to be a vampire, I have a book with literal vampire rules in it. So yeah, I would play this. I'm a big fan of Dresden Files, so this would be perfect for me. I'm glad they done it. Is there a price on the back of that book, by the way?
$49.99.
Okay, I paid just maybe exactly that or just a little more because I wanted to buy it on Monty Cook's website and get the PDF as well because that's how I am. But if you just want the PDF, I'll also have a link in the description to Drive Through RPG. It should save you a bit of money to go and get it just a PDF. But if you use that link, it's an affiliate link. It'll to no extra cost to you. It'll just help us out. And if you're into fantasy settings and modern fantasy especially, this would be a great buy. There's not a whole bunch out there in the TTRPG world for modern fantasy. There's countless fantasy settings, but not a lot of modern fantasy. And I've seen people mod D&D, which more power to you. I just don't play modded games. I'd play something like this designed to be modded. Also, I have just a personal update. If I mentioned I might talk about the D&D books here soon, I rescind that.
It's a lie.
I just don't agree with what they've been doing. Again, they've done some iffy things. It's not the creators. It's the people behind the creators that run the business. It ain't them. I like the stuff they create mostly. I just don't want to take part in that. So that's all I have to say. If you want to hear anything else from us, we have a lot of other episodes, different games, other Cypher System stuff will be in there. There'll be a link in the description. It'll be a Linktree link. It'll take you to all of our socials and our YouTube channel if you want to listen or, watch me play Oblivion or something on YouTube, or just listen to our episodes that way. Or if you want to chat with us, there'll be an email in the description as well. The Linktree will have links to X and Threads, anywhere. If you just want to chat with us that way and reach out on there, that'd be fine. And if you want to speak to any one of us in particular, just let us know and we'll forward it on to the other person. Yeah, if you want to send a tip, there's a link for that in the description as well. It uses a third-party service that our podcasting host takes care of. It's safe and secured. Guess that's it. We also have other podcasts, I should say. We have Horrific History and Hauntings. You'll find that in the Linktree link. It's our Gruesome Gaming Group podcast website, and it will take you to any of those. The Horrific History and Hauntings covers, my sister tells me about exactly what it says. Horrific history, sometimes some hauntings, some true crime. And if a lot of these terrible things happen, sometimes there's a ghost story afterwards. If there's a ghost story, we cover that part too. We have Leveling Duo, which comes out much less frequently because we don't play video games every week, new ones. But it's where me and Beth or me and my friend Dakota talk about new video games, or ones we really enjoy mostly. All right. Thank you for listening. I've been Ramey.
And I'm Beth.
This has been Brother Knows Quest. Bye-bye.